We are here at Mount Triumph 2015, quite frankly, to figure out why we're here.
I think we come to Mount Triumph at first because we're kind of forced to. Like, I get elected into a position and then my ASB teacher tells me, oh, now you get to go to camp. And you're like, wow. And then, but once you're in here, the reason that you do Mount Triumph is because in order to learn, like, what the needs of your school are.
We come to Mount Triumph to learn about leadership for the essential. Like that's why we come. It's the main reason. But it's much more than just that. It's experiencing Mount Triumph. You can't. It's really hard to describe Mount Triumph to anyone who hasn't been there. It's an experience. It's not like Disneyland, but just with the best people in the state.
We come to Mount Triumph to learn how to become better leaders for our school and our communities.
I come to Triumph to facilitate change, encourage growth, and spread happiness. Leadership changed my life in radical ways, and I wanted to pass that on to as many people as I can. I love our students and seeing you all come to realizations while at camp that will help you at home and in your schools. As JCs, we're always here to help, support, and listen to you.
We come to Mount Triumph first off for the leadership camp that we have here. And I think in broader terms, it's just like a place where we can all come together as leaders of Washington State, which I think is fantastic. And we can all come together, share ideas, and help each other expand in our leadership skills.
Leadership important because society wouldn't be what it is today without leadership, honestly. Every generation needs leaders, and those of you who are here today, you are the leaders of today, and that's why you're here. You're here to become the best leaders at your school.
Leadership is important because without leadership, our schools and our pep assemblies and all that stuff that leadership puts on, it would be tough to get that orchestrated, and I think it's really important to have a good foundation of leadership in your school. Otherwise, it's extremely difficult to have successful activities.
Leadership is important and essential to everything. It's essential to life, it's essential to the workplace, it's essential to high school. There will be leaders everywhere, but being taught how to be a proper leader is, I believe, one of the most important things that we can learn.
Council time is about building relationships with the people you came with. It's about having a common experience to take back to your school and hopefully bring that back to your school and give them a common experience. We want to strengthen group dynamics and make sure that schools are able to get on the same page and understand what they need collectively.
We have council time specifically for teams. It's a team-based camp, so you get to know the people from your school better, but also kind of get to see how to operate with other people and get to know them better and really see how you work together.
We have council so that you all can get to know the other leaders from your school that are here at camp, and also so that you all can make plans for the upcoming school year.
I'm here because I love it. This is something that I really believe in helping student leaders to gain tools and experience to be effective in their school and to help change lives of student leaders, of the students back in their school. And I think to some degree that's why everyone's here, is because they want to learn to be better as a human being and as a leader.
Why are you going to learn what you're going to learn? Because it will be great tools, great actual practical things to take back to your schools, so you understand people better, so that you can work with people better, and that you can actually make a difference.
I think we learn the things that we do because it kind of just has the message, and through the years I feel like it's going in the same direction, like no, this year's why, and it's just kind of asking life questions about why leadership is important maybe, and like how you could implement this in your everyday life, and how you could take this one step farther, or maybe do something so little to improve someone's life.
I'm here for the same reason I think that I became a teacher, and it's because frankly I just like helping young people. I love helping young people. I think that teenagers are at a time in their life when they can go any number of directions, and anything I can do to help somebody head in a positive direction and to do something amazing with their lives, I'd love to be a part of that.
I'm here because I think it's extremely important to have a high-functioning ASB in your school. If you don't have a student body that functions as one and can come to agreements on things, then it's extremely hard to have a successful ASB in a successful school. And then why are you here? You're here to get great ideas so that way you can share them with the rest of your school and hopefully give some ideas that you do at your school to people all around the state.
Why are we here? Because it answers the why. We do a lot of things, we do a lot of the what, but sometimes we forget why we do those things. And so it's to learn more about ourselves, to learn more about each other and schools, and to build amazing relationships.
I've had the privilege of experiencing camp as a delegate, junior counselor, court team member, and senior counselor. I continue to return every year because I believe in the student leaders of Washington State and the positive change that they can make in their schools and the communities.
Even though we are one person, we all matter, and we all can make a huge difference, because if you think about a big chain, it's a chain reaction. It starts with one, and the more you add, the more of a difference that is made. So yes, you are one person as an individual, but all of the steps that you take as a leader, as an individual, creates this chain reaction that can help make the world as a whole a better place.
I think as an individual, it just helps you with life. Maybe you grow on confidence, maybe you build relationships, maybe you build whatever aspect that you're kind of lacking at the not lacking, but just, you know, just building upon yourself and helping, because even in Maslow, it's like you gotta help yourself before you can help others. And I think this camp really helps with that, because through the activities we do, you kind of learn who you are as a person, and you get to learn how you react to other people.
At the end of the week, you're all going across the state. You're all going to Spokane, to Vancouver, to Linwood, to Seattle. You're going everywhere. You're spreading across the state. And so we have to spread, when we do is we spread that knowledge across the state, and it's just gonna be like a domino effect. First one domino hits the school, then another, and it's just gonna spread out like wildfire across the state. So definitely what we learn here is important so that we can spread our knowledge.
Because it's a foundation for why they're in leadership. ASB isn't about a title, leadership isn't about a title. It's about serving others, building relationship with them so that they can then be successful, and you can make true and actual change at your school.
As delegates, you're here as leaders at this camp to equip yourself as individual leaders, to then go on and take that back home and equip your school as leaders, then to go on from that and spread that to your community, and then take that and hopefully spread it to the world.
I think that camp is really important because it gives student leaders a solid foundation about what leadership is, and it gives them tools to be able to build that foundation more while at school, and they can refer back to that. It also gives students the tools to affect change in their school. There's things that I know every student leader wants to improve about their school, and it's here at camp that we learn about those tools and how we can use them.
Why it's important to people, to others, people around the world, I really believe is that it matters. It really does matter. That you matter and that other people matter, and that's really the whole essence of it, is that people matter, and that when you learn just that they do, and you kind of start to see how everyone works, it is so essential and so needed for life.
What we learn here is important to the world because we make this about you, and we make this about how you can learn to better yourself and understand yourself.
To the world is because, especially in our society today, we're getting more and more closed in. We're getting more and more just shut down, look at our tablets, our laptops, our phones. For leadership, we need to be outgoing, we need to be loud, we need to be proud, but not all the time. And so that's what camp is going to teach. It's going to teach you how to be the proper leader and go outside that box and break that bubble that everyone has around them.
We're trying to teach you guys how to be good leaders and how to use Iggy and Maslow's to understand why people do what they do. So it gives you these abilities that when you go out into the workforce, you know the way that people work and you can understand them and hopefully work well with others.
Well, because they're the student leaders at their school. They're the people that, you know, the rest of the student body has chosen to really to look to and to speak for them and to represent them, you know, frankly. And so obviously the more information that we can give them, the more well-rounded we can make them, I think that's going to set them up better to hopefully make their school a better place.
For school, I don't know, I think going to Triumph really brought, through my experience, it brought our council closer together, and just seeing all those type of grades mix and match, it kind of helped me see like, wow, I'm a senior now, but I can do all this and I can reach out to all the younger grades and kind of unify the school in a way that, I mean, everyone says they will, but it just, after this camp, I feel like we really have the drive to do something to our school or like make someone out of school happier. And it's just really fun.
Introverts and extroverts are all around us, and understanding more of who we are and who others are is just going to make us better leaders and help us change the world.
Sometimes you just don't know who you're working with, and for me, I'm an extrovert, so to work with an introvert, I know that I might have to know a couple things about them and let them know a couple things about me, so we're able to sort of work together.
Introvert and extrovert is extremely important. I'm glad that we're talking about it. I'm really excited that we're going more in depth because once you kind of understand that people are different and that people gain their energy differently and people that they operate differently, it really helps you understand people a lot better. That you understand that some people just talk a lot more and that's okay. And some people don't, and that's okay too. And so realizing that they're very different and that's okay that they're different.
Introvert and extrovert, it's extremely important to realize, especially as ASB, that we're not all extroverts. A lot of us in ASB, we like to think that everyone wants to get up and do things and do a bunch of extroverted stuff, and that's just not the case. Many of our student bodies and our student councils have introverts in there, and so we need to be sensitive to their needs and as well to the things that they would be interested in doing.
Around Triumph, and not only here but as you go out into the world away from this beautiful magic of Cispus. It's so relevant to everything that we do in life, how important just simple basic needs are in our life, and then safety, belongingness, and how that can turn to self-esteem and then into self-actualization.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs has a very straightforward dynamic of if my basic needs are being met and my safety needs are being met, then I can feel like I belong. But I cannot feel like I belong unless my basic and safety needs are being met.
Maslow's hierarchy is the purpose it serves is to kind of show that as every human being's needs are real, is that they need food, is that they need these different things, is that shows kind of the levels of how a person operates and how a person functions.
True colors are a way to learn about ourselves, learn about the people that we work with, and more than that, it's to learn how we interact with one another, to give each other a bit of grace at times, to understand why somebody is acting the way they are. It helps us to truly understand one another. And when we understand one another, we can communicate better. When we communicate better, we can make positive change towards the better, towards the more enjoyable, towards actual.
True colors are important because we are all different in our own ways, and we all have our different ways of working with each other and different ways of learning and going about situations and problem solving, and it's important to know how different people work together in those situations just so you know better how to work with them, how to handle other situations with the individual, and also to just know who you are as a person and to recognize the kind of person that you are and how you work with them.
So the True Colors is something that's very dear to my heart because that's when I realized why I am the way that I am. True Colors, the way that it works is that it tells you it gives you a measure of your personality and tells you whether you're an extrovert, an introvert, whether you are someone who leads more with compassion and likes to make sure that people's needs are being met before you're able to move on, or whether you're just a go-getter, ready to get the task done, or even if you might be a distractor. And True Colors is just easier to know once you're working with a group of people, because that way you can understand why they are behaving the way they are behaving. And so once you get past that, you're able to complete anything.